Marcia. Good to see you.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. You know, Tanya, you have such a great title. I would use it for all it's worth. Make your husband use it.
Make my mom use it.
Good afternoon. Is this on? Yeah. If everyone could please take their seats, we're ready to begin. Thank you. I would like to begin, or we would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge that we are gathered here today on the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta. The nations of the Treaty 7 region are the Siksika, Piikani, Kainai First Nations, who together form the Blackfoot Confederacy. The Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations, who all together form the Eyahe Nakota Nations, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation. The city of Calgary is also homeland to the historic Northwest Métis and to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. We acknowledge all Indigenous urban Calgarians who have made Calgary their home. With that, I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Anurag Varma. I'm Global Head of Government and Public Affairs for Infosys. I live in Washington, D.C., but I was born 13 minutes from here, Foothills Calgary Hospital. I happen to be raised about 2.5 hours north of here. Am I allowed to name the city? But not the hockey team. President Flanagan, I am a graduate of the University of Alberta. Although I did spend many a reading week in Stampede, kind of 17th Ave, Electric Ave, down the read. Yeah. So for me personally, it's really a proud moment that we were able to open this facility here in Calgary. Without further ado, I'd like to invite one of our global leaders at Infosys, President of Infosys, Ravi Kumar. He's based in New York City, just got here about an hour ago, and not only are all of us at Infosys happy to be here, we love introducing him to you. And the only unhappy people are his 1- and 2-year-olds who are at home right now and missing a very active father. But with that, Ravi, welcome you to the stage.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in today. Thank you, the CEO of Calgary Economic Development, Minister, Premier, Mayor, and one of our clients. We have a couple of our clients joining us here, the media, our employees. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's such an exciting milestone for us. In April 2021, we actually did an announcement, and that was actually virtual then in the middle of COVID, for 500 jobs in Calgary and 4,000 jobs in Canada. That was a very modest announcement then, and looking back after a year and a half, we are already at 650 employees at Calgary and 6,000 plus in Canada. So looking at what we made progress with the local ecosystem, we actually upped our commitments to the city of Calgary. We're going to do 1,000 jobs in Calgary by 2024. And we're going to up our commitment to Canada to 8,000. So we're doubling the numbers by 2024. One of the most extraordinary things we have actually noticed in Calgary as we progressed on this journey, we are now setting up this office. Hopefully people come back and we do hybrid work. I think hybrid work is going to be the future. It was harder. We thought it was harder to do remote. It was relatively easier than what we thought. It's going to be much harder to do hybrid than what we actually think. I do believe flexibility is going to remain in jobs. Flexibility is not going to be at odds to productivity. Flexibility is going to reinforce productivity, but bringing back people for building some social capital and using the social capital to build culture, I think is going to be very important for Infosys. So we are hoping that this expansion will continue to happen. One of the reasons why we are excited about Calgary is the local academic ecosystem. today we're going to actually sign a MOU with the University of Alberta. The president of the University of Alberta is here. We are excited about the academic ecosystem and building a feeder of talent from schools and colleges. Infosys, in the last 45 years since its existence, has been a pioneer on virtualization of work, which kind of got accentuated with the pandemic, but equally with learning infrastructure. We are a company built on lifelong learning infrastructure. So somebody asked me just as I was coming onto the stage, how did you find 650 people? We just don't look for people who have the skills. We look for people who have the potential and build feeders of talent into productive technology jobs. We are all living in a golden era of technology. Technology is going to be in every industry and every company, and we believe building that pipe of talent from academic ecosystem is going to be key. So our feeder of talent is going to be from academic ecosystems, from reskilling people from other industries, traditional industries, and of course, hiring people who otherwise have skills. And more importantly, making it attractive enough for global talent to be in the city of Calgary, a beautiful city with great standards of living and an extraordinary opportunity for professionals. So that's been our journey. We are already a top 20 employer in the Great Employers Survey in Canada very early on. And interestingly, we're the only tech services company in the top 20 of Canada. So we are hoping to keep that vibrancy, keep that ecosystem continuing. In fact, virtualization of work can actually make this much more expansive. We have 150 clients catered in Calgary. Only 15 are local clients. The rest are from the North America region. So the ability to bring work to where people are and the ability to use the local ecosystem to build that capability is what the strength of Infosys is, and we're very, very hopeful that we could leverage this ecosystem in Calgary to support this journey. So thank you again for joining us today, and excited about this specific milestone and many more to come. Thank you again.
Thank you, Ravi. One thing I will note, Ravi's organization within Infosys is about 250,000 people worldwide. So when Ravi talks about the future of work, we should all pay a little bit of attention. I will say with that, one of the people in this province that made Alberta so attractive to us was somebody who is no stranger to economic development, to revitalization, and I'm very honored to have here Premier Kenny.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Anurag, as a proud son of Alberta who's now living in Washington, D.C. I want you to know that Alberta is calling. We have a place for you when you come back home. You can pay lower taxes, more affordable housing, lower cost of living, make a higher income, and don't forget, you can see the Rocky Mountains from work. Thank you so much, Ravi, to you and the Infosys team for this incredibly exciting day. Another great day for Alberta's economic renaissance, for diversification, for the tech sector, for job creation in the beating heart of free enterprise. And indeed, I would say that Alberta is the beating heart of innovation in the Canadian economy. You've chosen the right place to center your huge expansion in Canada. I was delighted to join with you virtually 2 years ago for the big and exciting announcement about the footprint that you're establishing and the confidence that Infosys has in Calgary and in Alberta with that initial commitment to 500 jobs. And it is so encouraging to hear that you've already blown past that initial goal and now today are officially announcing a doubling of your scale and ambition for your presence in Calgary. To my fellow Albertans who don't know, Infosys is one of the world's largest tech consulting and services companies. This is a major multinational company. They can locate talent, people, and do this innovative work just about anywhere on the face of the earth. But they've decided to make a major presence here. And it's not a coincidence, Ravi. Alberta has one of the fastest growing tech sectors anywhere in North America. And that is, I think, a natural reflection of our culture of innovation. We Albertans are proud of and celebrate the fact that we are one of the world's largest and most responsible producers of energy. Sometimes people say that we should be known not just for our resources, but our resourcefulness. Well, anybody who understands our oil and gas sector, our energy sector, knows how resourceful it has always been. It has required massive investments in research and development, both academic and applied, science and technology, to figure out how to develop some of the world's largest energy reserves up north to help to fuel the global economy, and now to do so while reducing emissions. Much of that work was done in the labs and the engineering faculty of the University of Alberta, sponsored in partnership between the private sector and government. And now, as we go into this period of energy transition, we see such incredible levels of human capital that were developed, in part because of that industry and those development of those resources. That's why we have attracted so many newcomers from across Canada and around the world. It's why Alberta's population has doubled in the past 35 years. It's why we have the highest incidence of post-secondary education in Canada, and by far the highest percentage of people with post-secondary education in the STEM disciplines in science, technology, engineering, and math. And it's also why we have the youngest workforce in Canada. You see, Ravi, it's all adding up. On top of that, by far the lowest taxes in Canada. With our job creation tax cut, we have lower taxes than all 10 Canadian provinces and 45 of the 50 United States. Did I mention our housing affordability? Ravi, I appreciate this commitment to 1,000 jobs, but I pity the people that you're hiring in Vancouver and Toronto. They're all going to be clamoring to come to Alberta because they can't afford a $1.2 or $1.5 million house. I see our fellow Calgarians nodding here. In Toronto or Vancouver, but they can actually achieve the dream of home ownership and starting a family here in Alberta. With lower taxes, lower cost of living, lower cost of housing, and the highest incomes in Canada. Infosys, your presence here is a great stamp of a seal of approval on Alberta's audacious ambition to become a global tech hub. People thought that was maybe a ridiculous thing to say 5 years ago, but now it's real. With the huge expansion in our startup ecosystem, we're knocking the lights out quarter after quarter in venture capital investments. And of course, major global companies like yours. I won't mention any of your competitors, but they're setting up here too. But all together, that creates that ecosystem, which is really going to take off, and in partnership with our world-class universities. I'm delighted about your MOU today with the great University of Alberta, which this year, for the first time ever, was ranked as one of the world's top 100 research universities. Congratulations, President Flanagan. Let me just say one more word about the importance of today's announcement, the massive growth in the tech sector, and the diversification we're seeing across Alberta's economy generally. This is not in opposition to our historic and core resource industries. These things are operating symbiotically. We have here on the stage Debasius from Nutrien, which is a great Western Canadian resource company, the world's largest producer of fertilizers. And why is it based in Western Canada? Because we have some of the world's largest resources of potash that is mined mainly next door in Saskatchewan. The new CEO of Nutrien is a Saskatchewan farm boy, applying that prairie get-her-done practical know-how to a huge global company that is helping to feed the world, more important now than ever at a time of global food scarcity. But here is Nutrien, a Western Canadian mining and resource and agriculture company, being spotlighted at a tech announcement. Because tech isn't an industry, it is the future of every industry, including of agriculture. So I think Nutrien's presence here represents exactly what's happening in the Alberta economy today as we fire on all cylinders. Infosys, thank you for being part of that success story, and we look forward to the announcement of the next 1,000 Infosys employees in Alberta. Congratulations.
Well, Mr. Premier, I will say thank you for Alberta calling me. But I will let you know, so is my mother in Edmonton. So I'll take that call first.
Listen to Mom.
Yeah. I will say our next guest that we're honored to have here today is no stranger to economic development, no stranger to jobs, innovation, and economy, and she took over that portfolio exactly 1 month ago. Today, I'd like to say this is your first public speaking. Thank you for waiting. And then not only that, I did get a call from my brother in Southeast Calgary saying, let her know I voted for her. So with that, it is our honor at Infosys to have Minister Furr. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It is fantastic to be here today to celebrate with all of you at the official office opening of the Infosys Technology and Innovation Hub in Calgary. As Premier was talking about a year and a half ago, when you first announced that you are expanding into Calgary, we were excited about what that business choice meant. It meant an exciting development in the growth of our tech and innovation sector in the short and long term. We are pleased that Infosys is one of the earliest international tech companies to identify our province as the best place to grow. Their decision sent signals around the world that Alberta is an excellent place to do business. It sent signals of confidence in our economy and specifically in our tech and innovation sector. Since Infosys has recognized the advantages of expanding into Alberta, others will take a closer look and will continue to attract more business. Last year, this vote of confidence also meant 500 new jobs. 500 jobs is great news for Alberta, but has already been mentioned, more jobs is even better. Now, with Infosys saying they're doubling that initial number to 1,000 jobs, well, we're doubly excited. We know that one of Alberta's advantages, as Premier mentioned, is our young and talented workforce. With the help of Infosys, that workforce will expand its skill set. Over the coming years, more and more Albertans will work right here to help solve tech challenges ranging from the most basic to the most complicated. Over the past couple years, we have undergone much digital transformation in our personal and professional lives. That transformation is showing no signs of slowing down. Every partnership to help businesses better compete in the modern digital society and marketplace is important, and I know that Infosys will continue to be a part of that transition. I'm looking forward to seeing Alberta's tech and innovation sector continue to grow. The future is extremely bright for both students and job seekers for our overall economy. Alberta is at a key point in our story, and the decade ahead will be a strong one for our province. Whether in our more traditional industries like natural resources or expanding industries such as technology and innovation, the future is bright. Congratulations to Infosys, the team on today's opening, and thank you for being an important part of our economic diversification and growth.
Thank you, Minister. We're really grateful that you're here with us today. When we think about a partner at Infosys, in what you just heard Ravi talk about, why we're here, what we intend to do, and how we intend to get to 1,000 jobs, the type of partner we're looking for is someone who believes in attracting talent and retaining talent and making life and housing affordable for all of our 1,000 employees who are going to be here. So if you think about a partner, who would we think of? We would think of the Mayor of Calgary, Alberta, Jyoti Gondek.
Thanks very much, Anurag, for the kind introduction, and sincere gratitude to Ravi Kumar, Premier Kenny, and Minister Furr for supporting the work that Infosys is doing here in Calgary. On behalf of my Calgary City colleagues, thank you for having me here today and including us in this fantastic announcement for our city. Infosys growing from a few jobs up to 1,000 in the next few years is absolutely incredible news. It speaks to the opportunity that leading global companies are seeing right here in our city, and it also showcases the work that we are doing to diversify and grow our city's economy. There's something very special happening in the tech sector in our city, and we're incredibly excited to have a company like Infosys as a part of that momentum. We're a city that recognizes that tech is merely table stakes. By supporting organizations that are increasing capacity and building a larger workforce, Calgary can compete globally by boasting a critical mass of talented people that are needed for companies like this to thrive. There has been a 300% increase in Calgarians completing tech training programs since 2020, proving that Calgarians are advancing their skills and embracing the opportunity that awaits them in a different sector. And for all the excitement that we see with this announcement today, we know that these types of investments didn't happen overnight. We know that it took many long hours and a lot of work from a lot of people. The relationship between Infosys and Calgary Economic Development extends back 7 years ago to a first meeting in around 2016. And I'm confident that when Ravi and his team came here and saw what Calgary had to offer firsthand, it became clear that doubling their investment made good business sense. We have the infrastructure, we have the talent, we have a low cost of doing business, and as our Premier has so eloquently put it, we're a great place to live. We have a very distinct advantage for companies to locate here. Today, digital transformation is driving economic and employment growth in our city, and this announcement is yet another example of what's taking place here. The commitment that Infosys brings to build a strong partnership in the community is evident. From their early days in Calgary, we saw a commitment to both establishing strong roots here as well as growth. Ravi called today's announcement the beginning of their next chapter in Canada, and from a Calgary perspective, we couldn't be more excited than to be chosen as a key part of that story. The Infosys presence in the heart of our downtown core is also significant. It shows that Calgary is on the global radar as a place where bright minds and big ideas can come together to solve some of the world's biggest challenges. I'm confident that this relationship will continue to grow with many more chapters to come from Infosys. And let me say one last thing as I close. I want you to take a look around at this room. I want you to look at the people that are here. And I want you to remember that that is the brand and the reputation of our city. We are a city that welcomes everyone, we are inclusive, and we are successful and better because of that. Thank you for your faith in Calgary and its incredibly talented people.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for being here. I will tell you that one of the things that Infosys is very proud of is our clients. They're on historic journeys. I think the Premier mentioned Nutrien is here. We in Western Canada here are very proud that this is a global leader in agribusiness. They've chosen to make Western Canada their home, and we're so happy to be right here next to them. Our next speaker is one of their senior executives who lives in Calgary, is committed to Calgary, not just during the day, but in his off time, with his various exploits around the city and community and civic activities. I'd like to introduce Devasis Womack.
Very happy to be here. Good afternoon, and I'm not a great speaker like Kenny, Premier Kenny, Jyoti Gondak, and everybody else here, so bear with me. A couple of things my team was asking me before I came here. I said, what are you going to talk about, DV? I said, I don't know. There are some great speakers here. So I want to just say I'm so happy. I'm just so happy to be here for a couple of reasons. One is Infosys, which is one of our strategic partners, choosing Calgary as home. Premier Kenny, you mentioned that, and I came to Calgary 15 years back, and I made it home. I came for 6 months assignment with another company, and since then I made it home. I have my kids here and everything, so I endorse everything you said. And one thing probably we didn't mention as much is the people we have here who are so welcoming, and so I'm very grateful to be here. So a couple of reasons for being happy today. For Infosys, obviously, congratulations to the team. And secondly, it is great for our tech ecosystem. Brad and I have been working, and many others, obviously, on making Alberta a tech ecosystem, Calgary a tech ecosystem for a long time. And it was a long time coming. And I'm really, really happy to see the recognition is there of the tech talent we are building in this province. And this is a great start for many to come. So it's really happy for that. And finally, not just resources industry, ag industry. I worked in oil and gas for a long period of time before this. All industry needs technology. every industry needs technology. It's present, it's not future. And whether we call ESG or sustainability or giving back to the environment, everything has to become through the hands of technology. So it's very good to see that technology is in the forefront of our province where I live. So once again, I got to say this is the best time in Alberta from the tech perspective. As we call in projects language for folks, techie folks behind, are we ready? We are definitely ready for the tech challenge and the tech shift in Alberta in addition to our resources industry. So very happy to be here. Congratulations, Infosys.
I think he's good at speaking. I'm going to use the old adage, best for last. Sorry, everyone. But, Calgary Economic Development came, and at the time, 2016-17, I was living in Palo Alto, California, working with Infosys, and Calgary Economic Development, former Mayor Nenshi, called, and they said, hey, we'd like to take you to dinner. I said, oh, I like that idea. That's great. But they said, we'd like you to come to Calgary. Ravi at that time was really focused on, planting our roots in the United States, and we were in this project. But I took the free dinner. And I will tell you, that was the seed. What Calgary Economic Development has meant to Infosys in our journey in coming here cannot be properly articulated. It's just been tremendous to have such a large, strong professional organization that's so enthusiastic and supportive of everything we were thinking about in this journey. With that, I'd like to introduce the CEO of Calgary Economic Development, Brad Perry.
So there's good news and bad news about going last. One is you've heard these amazing speakers talk about all the amazing things that are happen. The bad news for Anurag is I can tell stories. In all seriousness, though, I remember talking to Anurag back in January of 2021, and he says, "Brad, you got to tell me. I'm putting my butt on the line here because I'm going for this. Are you sure you guys can deliver this?" And I said, "Anurag, trust me, we can. Calgary is and will become a tech innovation ecosystem like you haven't seen in the past and before." To put that in perspective, when we had that conversation, Infosys had 10 people in Calgary. They now have over 600 and will be 1,000. That's 100-fold growth over that period of time. Just to think about that. What that does, though, for us and from the mayor's perspective and our city's perspective is it validates our vision for this city, which is to be that destination of choice for people who want to solve those global challenges. So I will keep this short and sweet and simply, Anurag, Ravi, thank you so much for believing in us, and thank you for seeing the vision that we have, and thank you for making today possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Now, one thing we want to make clear here is that although we're happy to be in Calgary, this is a regional announcement, which is that Calgary is a great city and Alberta is a great province. Number of educational institutions, Ravi mentioned that one of the reasons you come here to the region is because of talent pipeline, because of academic institutions. And today we're going to make an announcement. If I have President Flanagan and Tan Murthy, our Executive Vice President, please come to the stage. And with that, we'll let President Flanagan tell you what we're about to sign right now.
This is a MOU that we're signing, that the University of Alberta is delighted to sign with Infosys. And this is a partnership that dates back to 2016. And we have had many opportunities to visit your headquarters in India. And this is a partnership that is drawing on a lot of the talent that comes from the University of Alberta. Many of these 1,000 new employees that you'll be hiring will be U of A grads. And as you know, we're one of the top 3 universities in the world for artificial intelligence. So we have an extraordinary group of talent happening at the University of Alberta. So this MOU is about not only recruiting our students, offering internships, but also supporting research at the university and continuing to build on a relationship that is really important to the University of Alberta. So we're delighted to sign this MOU today. Thank you.
Now, let's be clear, 1,000 jobs requires a lot of universities. So hopefully you'll be seeing more and more of such MOUs. We look forward to all of these partnerships. With that, I'm going to ask all of our speakers to come to the front here for ceremony.
Oh, the ribbon cutting. Exciting.
Sharp.
No, you're the CEO.
Everyone come around for the photo. If we can just stay there for 1 second.
Thank you so much. Are you staying for a little bit? Just no, oh my goodness, you're a fast moving man. Where are you off to tomorrow? Sorry to hear that.
And now have everyone come back to their seats for the thank you remarks. Oh, no, there will be cake, yeah. I'd like to call to the stage our Senior Vice President and Head of Canada Operations, SP Singh. Please come here to give closing remarks and, equally important, instructions as to what happens next.
Thank you, Anurag. Thank you. A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm absolutely delighted to welcome all of you to our new home in Calgary. When I first came to this building and looked around, we were not very sure whether this is where we'll end up. But almost 18 months down the line, today it's wonderful to have this facility and to host all of you and all the dignitaries here. Thank you everyone for being here in this in celebrating this event with us. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank all our guests here, Premier Kenny, Minister Fur, Brad, Debashish, who we fondly call DB, and representing Nutrien, and Mayor Gondek, Ravi. Thank you all. And thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedules to be with us and spend this afternoon with us. Also, one of the key things here is none of this would be possible without the phenomenal support and sponsorship that we have had from Infosys senior leadership. Ravi Kumar, his president and global head of delivery, Infosys. Tan Murthy, exec vice president and head of Americas. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Tan. Last but not the least, all the, I think Mayor Gondek talked about it, the multitude of people who've made this possible from across the various groups of Infosians. I would like to just call out Anurag, Harini, Nishita, all the regional leads that I have, and their teams who've really made this possible. Thank you all. Thank you so much. And finally, to all of you, the audience here, to spend this time with us, thank you so much for being here and for your support. We really look forward to making this just a beginning. We are at 600 people today, 630 odd. But in my mind, it's only a beginning. I think we'll really go long ways, and we absolutely take up that challenge, Premier Kenny, of upping these numbers beyond the 1,000 and so on, right?
That, Robbie?
Yeah. Ravi will always support me on that. So yeah, we look forward to doing a lot more in Calgary and establishing ourselves further here. Thank you so much. And this is kind of closing this part of the event. Our dignitaries, I think Anurag will take them for the media engagements, and for the rest of the audience, we have a lot of very cool solution showcases around the floor, which you must take a look at. It is a lot of the solutions that we take to our clients, to the markets, cutting edge technology stuff. It would be good to have a look at that. So with that, I think we'll break out. Thank you so much, and all the best.
If there are members of the media who would like to do an informal session with our speakers, please come over here. Thank you.